We're recording. Everything you say will be on record. What's up, guys? Welcome. We're going to cover the 2020 challenge. It's coming up, and it's going to be fun and exciting. And that's why we have 150,000 people here. You guys can't see it.
Broadcast it out to the world.
Solid 5.
I'm going to let you set up the parameters of the workout.
Okay.
So Cam's going to go over kind of the food portion of it and the choices within those food portions and how we're going to do that. And then we're going to talk about the layout of the challenge beginning on Monday.
Yep. So we sent out an email earlier in the week kind of laying out a few different nutrition plans that you can follow throughout this challenge, stemming from pretty basic to a little bit more intricate. So the first one that we laid out was just a basic macro split, right? So in this macro split, pretty much all you're doing is divvying up the amount of carbohydrates you're taking in, the amount of fats that you're taking in, and the amount of protein you're taking in daily, and setting that to your total caloric intake, right? So there isn't really any timing of nutrients or anything like that. We're not specifying how many meals you need to get in a day or anything of that matter. It's just, you're just making sure that the amount of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats you're taking in is equaling the total calories that you're trying to get in per day, right? I will say, and I don't know if you're on the same page here, but for this challenge, I don't think any specific plan you need to follow. I think the main point of this is to focus on your overall nutritional quality, throughout this 9 days. Making sure that what you're eating is nutritionally beneficial. We're not taking in a lot of processed carbohydrates, refined sugars, processed food in general. So we're trying to eat more whole, natural foods, okay? The next one that we laid out was the zone diet. That's more timed out meals. You have specific meals that you're eating in specific blocks. There's a bunch of details on the zone diet in the email that we sent out. It kind of breaks down what a zone block looks like, how many blocks you should be getting per meal, how many meals a day you should be getting, and how many blocks per meal, like I just said, okay? So that one's a little bit stricter. If adhering to a diet plan is something that you feel like you are naturally pretty good at, maybe following something a little bit stricter works for you. Personally, for me, the zone diet's hard because I'm not very good at timing out my meals. I like to follow that macro split. It's just a little bit easier for me to adhere to, okay? We've also laid out the Paleolithic diet. The Paleolithic diet is more about eliminating those processed foods, cutting out gluten, cutting out dairy, cutting out legumes, so things like beans, pretty much eating like the cavemen did, right? Your macro split, or your percentage of, food that you're getting from carbohydrates, fats, and proteins is going to vary on that, and it kind of just depends on what suits your needs better. Some people follow a paleo diet that have higher carbs, lower fats, moderate protein intake. Some people have paleo diets that are following higher fats, lower carbohydrates, and a moderate protein intake. But like I said, it kind of varies. There's also different variations on the paleo diet. Some people are starting to include butter and things like that. So there are some dairy products that are included.
Paleo ice cream.
Paleo ice cream, yeah, all sorts of stuff.
Paleo is everywhere.
Yeah, paleo is everywhere. Everything's paleo now. But it's more about just following that unprocessed. You want to be getting whole foods here, right? So if you're shopping in the middle of the grocery store, lots of boxes and things like that, lots of chips, most likely those are not paleo approved. And then we have the CrossFit diet, which I don't know the exact quotes. Do you know what Glassman says exactly?
No.
So the CrossFit diet, is zone-based. It is a zone-based diet, and once again, it's based on.
It's basically paleo.
It's basically paleo. Yeah.
Some nuts and seeds.
Yeah.
Mostly fruit.
Yeah. Vegetables, meats.
Some nuts and seeds.
Some nuts and seeds, little fruit, or some fruit, little starch, no sugar, right? Basically following that no processed foods, and then following it on a zone schedule. So those are the 4 that we laid out. Those are the 4 of them that we laid out for this challenge.
And then within each grouping, so ideally we'd like you to kind of choose a grouping, and then within that grouping, make yourself comfortable, right? So some people are, I gotta go into my cabinet and wipe everything clean and start new. Cool, that's your thing. If that works for you, then go with what works, but don't force it. If you're not that kind of person, don't go in and wipe out the cupboards and try and start new, because in a few days, a week, you mess up, you make a mistake, then you're like, oh, I'm out of it, or whatever. Don't think like that. Let's make small enough, or make the appropriate size changes for you to be able to stick with the challenge, right? So maybe in that paleo, you're going strict paleo, or say zone, you could go paleo zone, right? Or you could throw in some intermittent fasting, right, to change it up. So there's different ways that we can incorporate that or make it easier so that it has more stickability to you.
Yeah. And throughout this, we'll be sending out emails, posting on Facebook and Instagram, just little tips and tricks, strategies that you can use throughout this 90 days. So we'll be keeping content pretty fresh and be rolling things out to you.
And you will have a team to lean on,
Yep.
right? So you'll have a team of 2 other people to lean on. And then within that, like I said, we'll send out some tips and strategies to help stay at it. And if you fall off, get back on. That's all right. We're all human, right? Have a cheat day. Throw a cheat day in there. But then Kevin's like, no. But if that's not your personality, then don't do it, right? If you've got to stay strict to stay on it, then stay strict, right? If you know that I can stay super strict for 6 days, if I know on that 7th day I can kind of let loose and go with it, do that, because you'll find week over week that 7th day, that cheat day, becomes less and less like a cheat day. You'll be choosing a whole lot better foods, and you'll still cheat maybe, but it'll be a whole lot different. It'll be more refined, whole, or healthy cheat.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the whole point of this is not to be super stressed out while you're trying to make these nutritional changes. So it's just steps at a time, right? It's gradually building yourself into a healthier lifestyle, into healthier nutritional habits. So easing into it's better than trying to change everything all at once, for sure.
Any questions on any of that?
So for like macros, you would help a person determine what their macros should be
Yep.
based on their weight and their goals and all that jazz?
Yep.
Yeah, we can help with that.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
If you're following
You way in the back. Yep. Go ahead.
if you're following something different, is that cool too? Like I'm doing a completely different. I'm doing RP. Already. So.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And if somebody else has knowledge of RP and wants to dive into that, cool. Absolutely. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. You question?
What is RP?
Renaissance periodization.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So RP's, RP is macro counting, but it's a lot of timing as well, like nutrient timing.
It is, but overall, like calories and
Calories
is more
versus
important.
calorie,
My timing is not on point
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just the way my lifestyle is. I'm not able to eat when they tell me to.
Sure.
Or like if I have like a higher carb, fat, protein content in the evening, and I know that I do better with that for like dinner, I'll switch those meals. So there is some flexibility, and it's still gonna work.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get really dead set on like, oh, well, I can't get a meal in at 3 o'clock. This isn't gonna work for me, and that's not. It still works.
Yeah.
It's the daily intake is way more important than your timing, but it does help you realize that like you need higher carbs after a workout and less fat and stuff like that. So it does give you an idea of like how you should be timing your meals. So that it does help.
Yeah.
One thing's for certain is that eating in any of these fashions, you have to be more scheduled about it. You have to be more prepared. So even if you take a Sunday and spend a little time preparing meals, or every day that you make dinner, or however you make your dinners, make more so that the next day that dinner could be your lunch, right? Or however you're doing it. But try and make those little things, those little adjustments to the way you're making food now, so that it's easier for you to progress through the week, right? Because not everybody has a Sunday afternoon to, free without kids and all that kind of stuff to prep a whole week's worth of meals. I mean, Michelle has said she'd do it for everybody then. Michelle's meals.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Any other questions on the food part of it? Okay, go.
I do have a quick question.
Yes.
Do you recommend a specific app or anything for tracking all this stuff?
I use MyFitnessPal. I think that it's RP's app is really good.
And it's not a daily log. It's not MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
People start comparing, and the algorithm is completely different. That's just more like a diet coach.
Yeah.
It's not like necessarily a tracker.
Yeah,
like that.
I
So
use-
they're a little bit different.
I use MyFitnessPal. It's pretty intuitive. Practically everything's on there. If there's something that you can't find on there, you can scan the barcode. It'll pull it up. You can set your own macro percentages on it. And it takes a little bit to get into the swing of logging everything, but I found it to be the most helpful app so far.
And you can save meals, like if
Yep.
you log everything in, you can save it as egg scramble, and then
Yep.
all of it can go the next day.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
The caloric goal will be set after you guys take down all of our factors, height, weight,
Yep.
age. And then after that, we have a caloric target.
Yeah. We can start that.
And that's
Is that
based
part
on-
of the
that's based
process?
on your goals too.
Yeah,
If
right.
you're going for mad gains, we're
Well,
going to
for sure,
increase your
yeah.
caloric intake.
5,500 calories.
Yeah, there you go, bro.
You better know, chicks.
It's a lot of paleo.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's talk testing.
Oh yeah.
Next week, you decide to come on, or you guys are all in, right? We'll start on Monday, so anytime between Monday and Friday, there's a handful of things that you guys need to get done for testing. On Friday, all the testing will be cut off, and then we'll take a day or so to pair teams based on results. So you want to get after these things, push yourself, right? And then we'll put the teams together, and the challenge will officially begin next Monday. All right. So we'll start out. Everyone needs to weigh in at some point next week. Actually, Matt's going to bring in a body comp
Yep.
analyzer too. So we're going to kind of we'll use the same apparatus, same machine to do body comp and.
It's actually just a middle-aged man. He's really good at just knowing your body. He's gonna look at you.
Yeah. Stand on my feet.
17%.
Just to preface, you want to do that prior to exercise. Yeah. So you want to weigh yourself in and take that body comp scan prior to exercise.
Would you by yourself if you take off all your clothes?
No.
That's actually
Well, essentially you want to come in